Former Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan recently penned an op-ed and made a strong and I think over-the-top case that Kamala Harris, Biden's VP, should be the one running for president in the general election. So he is very clear about his feelings about Biden's performance during the debate and how he is actually incredibly vulnerable to losing to Donald Trump in the general election, which is why he's making this case. He writes, witnessing Joe Biden's struggle was heartbreaking, and we must forge a new path forward. After deep reflection over these past few days, I strongly believe that our best path forward is Kamala Harris. And when I say over the top, this is what I'm talking about. Kamala was the highlight of a historically dreadful night, meaning the night of the debate. Across cable news stations, the vice president's performance was stellar, a ray of light in the darkness. Those who questioned her chops over the past several years were rebuked by a polished, confident leader communicating clearly in the throes of a political meltdown of epic proportions. I loved watching it. Our vice president was masterful. I might have missed those videos. I don't know.
No, we didn't miss anything. Look, Tim Ryan's an enigma. I appreciate him coming out and saying that Biden should step down. That's good, that's very positive. And we know Tim from a long, long time ago when he was a young congressman that first came into Congress. He used to come on the Young Turks all the time. And he was a progressive, and he was a centrist, that he's kind of a populist, but he's kind of a corporatist. He's a fascinating dude, and hence this, where you say Biden should step down, but I think that Kamala Harris should take over, who is, a lot of people have tons of questions about, and is not necessarily the best step forward.
Well, I mean, look, we all know that in the end, the real decision makers when it comes to the general election are the independent voters, especially those in swing states. And one of the vulnerabilities of Biden is that, Kamala Harris doesn't poll well in terms of approval rating. And so when you think about the possibility of Biden not living out his next term, should he miraculously get reelected, well, that means the person who will be in charge of the country would be Kamala Harris. And people, again, see that as a vulnerability for this ticket. And by the way, there is now some polling in regard to Kamala Harris running in the general as opposed to Biden. And this is by CNN. So they put this polling out recently. And they found that Vice President Kamala Harris is within striking distance of Trump in a hypothetical matchup. 47% of registered voters support Trump. 45% support Harris. So this is national polling. It's not focusing specifically on the swing states. And that was about 2 points better than Biden in this polling. But she's still trailing Trump. But the argument is, well, she's got name recognition, which other Biden replacements might not necessarily have. I don't know if I'm buying that argument, because the second the Democrat who replaces Biden is out there campaigning, boom, they get way more name recognition. Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team.
It just drives me nuts. Name recognition is everything in a primary, because in a primary, if you have a bigger name, the other guys are gonna have an incredibly difficult time building up their name in enough time to be able to overcome you, especially if they're not in politics. And if they're not celebrities, it's almost no chance, right? And so that's why it took Bernie a year to chip away at Hillary Clinton's lead, because back then a lot of people didn't know who Bernie Sanders was, right? But in a general election, it is nearly irrelevant at the presidential level. Again, at a state level, if it's Montana and nobody knows, big deal. In Congress, those are small races. The incumbents have a huge advantage because of name recognition. But at the presidential level, you're gonna vote Democrat or Republican. Everybody's gonna know the candidates by the time the election comes around. It's gonna be the biggest news you've ever seen in your life if there's a new Democratic candidate. You think people are going to miss it? Do you think they're not gonna know, oh golly gee, I don't know that guy, I might as well vote for Trump? That's not a thing. They have to stop saying absurd things. And then another thing you should know that's super important, and the bad faith actors are trying to deceive you with. They'll put out polls like, oh, look, Gretchen Whitmer or Josh Shapiro would lose to Trump really badly. No, in a poll now, the fact that they don't have name recognition kills them.
Yeah, they haven't.
But that's not what that's not going to be on election day. On election day, they're going to have been the Democratic candidate for at least 3 months, and they will literally get billions of dollars in free media coverage, let alone their ads.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The other thing I wanted to just point out in regard to the CNN poll, they looked at where the hearts and minds of independent voters are. Trump has a whopping 10-point lead among independent voters. And there's also a share of independents who decided to choose neither candidate. No Trump, no Biden, they don't like either one. And those are the voters who are likely either gonna stay at home, which would hurt Democrats down ballot, or they might show up to vote, but not for president. They might, write in a candidate or something like that, but they'll show up to vote specifically for Democrats or Republicans down ballot.
Yeah, so now I wanna show you the devastating poll results, and then we'll show you a video from the past.
This is a leaked internal poll from the Democratic Party.
Yeah, so the fact that it's leaked is also interesting. I wonder who leaked it. So let's take a look at this poll. So you remember we were all looking for the 6 swing states. Well, those 6 swing states are already gone, okay? So on that alone, Biden's already gonna lose the election. But let's show you one that includes non-swing states at this point: New Hampshire, Virginia, New Mexico. And you'll see that he's now losing 3 non-swing states. And he's on the verge of losing 3 more. So epic landslide disaster territory. Now, I wonder if anyone said that this would happen.
Well, Cenk, I think somebody did say that this would happen on this program, on this show. Let's take a look.
You can't lose 30 points among the young if you're a Democrat and hope to win. You can't lose Latinos. Trump is getting more Latino votes than Biden is and hope to win. It's not even close. Do you know that Biden's lead in New York is down to 9?
That's insane.
You're talking about the swing states. I told you this again almost a year ago. He's gonna lose all the swing states. He's gonna lose non-swing states. It's an absolute epic disaster. So that was a month before the debate.
Hashtag Cenk was right.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But guys, the important part is, what are we going to do going forward?
Right.
The people who said he was perfectly fine and that he would win the election were saying it at a time that if you read the polls, and of course I wasn't the only one, Nate Silver, whatever little hair he has been on fire the entire time. Okay, smart analysts like Ezra Klein, James Carville, David Axelrod, they've all been saying, even guys I don't like here, I'll give credit to Bill Maher, he's been saying it, right? All the people who can read numbers and understand politics can see, oh, this is a disaster. And everybody's like, oh, you're crazy, you're outrageous, you don't know what you're talking about. We're gonna win easy. Because they've been lied to by mainstream media. They didn't know any better. But the reality is now the non-swing states are going. We're in landslide territory, guys, unfortunately, as predicted. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.